Alright everyone, I'm here with the January psychic predictions video. So, for January coming up here, when I tune into January, the energy that I get is this very light yellow. It's very lighthearted. However, moving into February, there's this kind of like dark, uh, heavy red and hints of brown and black, and just like this general stuckness kind of vibe to the beginning of February. So that's also potentially going to start at the very end of January, but it's just like the very end of January, and then I don't see this heavy energy in February going on much further than just the first week of February. And when I tuned into what this is about, what I got was things loosely associated with things of the nature of tight resources, blame, struggle, feeling gypped, overall just reality crashing down and people waking up to a harsh reality. However, long term, I do see this as being a positive thing because having lived through that and learned the lessons from that, I see it as actually a lesson in being grounded, and people will be much more grounded afterwards. However, for January 2021, it's a much more light energy, like a swift, kind of to the point, easygoing. Things come with much more ease, and it's as if there's a weight that has been lifted from people's shoulders. So it's a very nice vibration. Last month, there was more of this. What I was saying last month, I predicted before December. That there would be head spinning for December, fear, uncertainty, doubt. I said the word FUD, which is actually a word used in the stock market to mean fear, uncertainty, doubt, which generally implies that stocks are going to go down. We did see that in December, a lot of that situation, and I think even cryptocurrencies have been going down. Um, and I did also say that I thought December wouldn't be the best for cryptocurrencies. I think next month will be better. I can't promise anything here, of course. Last month, I also said how Joe Biden was riding waves of confusion and unsure what to do, along with this fear, uncertainty, doubt, and people's heads kind of spinning. And I don't know about you, but I kind of felt like that. Like it was just a little kind of chaotic. And I had to take a little break from YouTube and everything as well. So this month, I'm seeing that continuing a little bit with Joe Biden, the confusion, but it's not so much that he's confused; it's more that he's kind of humbled now. Moving into January, replace the confusion with humbleness because I see him taking orders from the military more so than him making the calls himself, and it's kind of like he's realized that he needs to kind of listen to other people. And so I see him taking a break from pushing his personal agenda, his personal plans, and him having to be a little flexible with that. And I saw him looking at other countries far away. I saw this symbolized with him looking through binoculars. Of course, that's not literal. I did get that he could potentially be sending troops to other countries, but in a very non aggressive way. I don't see these troops going directly into places of conflict, but more so like setting up around and being more so of an observer than an aggressor, and just kind of like a slow, stabilizing action, kind of like a slow chess game where people are just like getting their pieces in position before anything actually happens, or in case anything happens. I don't see this being to spawn any sort of intense situation, at least for January. Um, Again, January, this bright, sunny kind of month is what I was getting. And this, I know it's wintertime, so it doesn't make sense for it to be sunny, but I was seeing like this sunlight and all this brightness, and I think that's more energetic, and it has to do with the brightness illuminating areas of self doubt, self imposed limitations, pain, and things of that nature. You could call it a healing crisis, or a cleansing crisis is the term people use sometimes, which basically means you're cleansing out so much that it almost is too much, and you can have like side effects from cleansing. And so this is, in some sense, kind of like when, maybe somebody may cry from joy because of all the past trauma being built up and it not being an appropriate time or a safe time to relieve that trauma. But at a certain moment, when they experience enough joy and reassurance, they're able to let that trauma go. And so that's kind of the general energy of what I'm seeing for January. um, so yeah, this joy and ease can stimulate awareness and bring up past trauma. I was seeing an image of military ships in the Pacific Ocean, which could raise concern, and this is coming towards the United States. But I don't see it being a serious issue beyond them just being parked there and watching. I do get that if this does happen in January, that it will de-escalate in a couple months, and within like 2-3 months, I see those ships turning around and going back again. I don't get the sense that these are Russian. Um, it's possible they could be Chinese. I'm not 100% sure on that though. So for the month of January, I see this yellow energy over the whole planet, and it's kind of like it's just basking the whole planet in this sunshine. And it creates the manifestation of breaking free of barriers and people breaking free of their chains. And I see that being correlated with the healing that I was seeing. So there's a lot of healing going on for this month. So moving on to different continents and countries. Africa. When I tuned into Africa, I saw it as yellow energy with a little bit of green energy as well, and then also this twisted black energy. And it was the energy of vicious snakes, and it was almost like these snakes were twisted black energies, but it was not in a positive way. It was the viciousness of that type of scenario. So there could be possible clashes between groups, gang groups or terrorist groups in Africa, and possible kidnapping, things of that nature may be good to watch out for. And just people who may be a potential threat, it may be wise to use caution. Try not to stir the pot too much, I guess, in Africa. As far as Argentina, when I tuned into Argentina, I see it as this blue energy with this green yellowish energy as well. And what I got was people taking it easy for January, but there's like this shakiness as if the nervous system is recovering from long-term trauma. There's this desperation energy from the past, but I see it improving for January. And what I got was in March, so not in February, but in March, it looks like people look happy, like the healing is kind of starting, but it takes a while for the healing process to show its fruit, so to speak. And so in March, that's when I see people being happy and the healing really taking its effect on people. I just see people smiling, and there's this solid blue energy with the sense of confidence, like a confident blue, if that makes any sense. Moving on to Ukraine, I got battle energy, of course. What a surprise. I saw as this faded blue. Energetically, I was getting like this sharp edge type of feeling, but it was like this sharp edge, but they were doing well, so it was kind of confusing. And so I was getting that there was a good military performance. There is fear, and I saw people leaving or hiding, but not anything too radical considering the situation. Only small shifts of ramping up what's already been going on, but it's not. I'm not seeing like a big, crazy, sudden situation. But when I tune into the future, I see Russia, I'm seeing the Ukraine slowly losing ground to Russia, but still being able to hold on and maintain themselves despite the circumstances. And I don't see Russia taking over the whole country in its entirety. So moving on to Russia, of course, I see this as a green energy, a little darker from, I remember last month I read it at a green, and this is a little darker green. And I'm seeing that their enthusiasm has lowered just a little bit. I see Putin losing steam, so to speak, but continuing on this autopilot plan that he has. Although I see there's a little bit more of this dreary energy to it, and the way that I saw it was somebody playing chess, and it was like their hand was a little shaky, and they're kind of worn out, and they just didn't have the energy that they had before. However, when I tune into the citizens of Russia, I saw their energy as a whole as purple and like a party purple. Them partying in the face of these darker energies. It kind of reminded me of the scene from, I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was a movie about Mozart, and there's this underground party scene that they go to, and they get really drunk and they're playing games, and it's totally rambunctious. But anyways, that's what came to my mind. So it's like this cheerful drunkenness, underground escapism, underground like joy. Though it's like a party, and there's lots of joy going on, and it's to escape this serious energy, to escape that serious vibe. And I see that as much as it is an escapist movement, it is also very healthy and advisable from my perspective. It kind of reminds me of a Renaissance, but underwatch, so undercover Renaissance, I guess you could say, because it's under the watch of the higher powers that kind of don't want it to be there. So, yeah, last month I was reading Russia as a purple vibration, doing well and self-contained on cruise control. And I guess we did kind of see that because there was no escalations, and Joe Biden in December did say that he would not be sending troops to Ukraine to battle Russia, which would obviously inflame the situation. And so, even though all that was going on from the beginning, before I made those predictions, nothing really changed. So I would say that the cruise control is going to continue for a little while. So moving on to Australia. Last month I predicted, and I made a little separate video because I forgot to include Australia and someone requested it. So I made a little mini video about Australia, and I said there's violence, but it's more so potential violence, and I saw it being stopped. And by the end of the month, by the second half of the month being peaceful. So at that point in time, I was unaware of the mask mandates that were going on in Australia and the mass protests against it. And so since then, I looked that up, and what I was reading was that Australia will not reimpose mask mandates or lockdowns, and this happened towards the second third, like 2/3 of the way through December. That was announced. So obviously that kind of slowed down the protests and riots and the more recent protesting that had been going on through the second half of December. There were no clashes with police, but previously, apparently, that was a big problem going on in Australia with lots of people rioting, protesting, clashing with police. But anyways, for this month, January, I'm seeing Australia as having an orange with a tint of yellow to it type of vibration, which is just the energy of people just chilling and taking it easy. And I would say it's a good time to enjoy the simple things while you can in Australia. So moving on to the United States. I saw it as this light, smoggy blue. And so the blue is the more pure energy here, and the smog, it's kind of like this contaminated smoke and mirrors kind of thing. And when I tuned into more about that, it has something to do. Well, the image that I was shown was Biden not really being too happy, and possible bad political news coming out, not necessarily regarding him, but just in general. And Biden can kind of represent authority. It isn't necessarily Biden himself, but that just general vibe within the United States and the economy being jammed up. So that's like the smog that's kind of over this blue. But behind that was this pure blue. And that was the dominant color in the situation for the United States. And what that was about was this knowingness of just the people, just this having this inner knowingness, this clear blue clarity, and people really getting it, whatever that may be, within their personal lives. Smoothness in transitions, so people changing, and just like this ease and this smoothness to their transitions and changes, and to kind of have this joy within the change. Within the southeast of the United States, I did see these dark energies that showed up as thunderstorms, and this could be literal or it could be more of a metaphor. I'm not sure, but I got that this could be related to transportation issues and things being delivered, and people not being able to get what they need. When I tuned into China, what I got was a blue vibration, and mostly quiet for the most part, and pretty neutral, nothing too exciting going on. When I tuned into Japan, I saw it as this white with blue energy, and there being this rebelliousness type of vibe to it, but people mostly happy. However, there's this high social energy that could really benefit from being grounded more. And when I was reading that, I saw trees and wood in particular. So there may be something about being around trees that could be very grounding, and that may be something to do if you're in Japan and you're feeling like there's a lot of hyped up social energy that you may want to relieve yourself of by being grounded. So I also saw this green energy as well in Japan that had to do with this youthful freshness and there being more acceptance of the younger generation and the older generation losing their power. Also, I got the general population, their spirits are dancing, but their body is not so much, and it's like almost like a separation of spirit and body, and they could use more mindfulness to anchor in the spirit into the body and be more grounded to the center of the earth. So a little more mindfulness could be beneficial for the general population of Japan. So, what other things were coming up for January? I saw Joe Biden doing lots of speeches, trying to control the narrative to the general public. And moving on to what's good for January. What's good for January 2021 is letting go of old plans, healing trauma, being relieved of duty, and I saw that this may be something that many people may just be experiencing, being relieved of their duties and set free to heal. This may have to do with the military, or not necessarily the military, but militant situations. I'm not sure exactly what that implies, but that's what I was getting. Also, this month is good for injustice energy being relieved. And this has been in the works for the last couple months where people have been healing slowly, but in particular, this month is where the relief comes. This month is also good for changing plans and changing financial plans as well. So, what is this month bad for? This month is bad for following the crowd, just doing what other people are doing, sending complaints, and I saw this as like emailing complaints to corporations or whatever, or sending or not necessarily corporations, but individuals of authority who may be the CEO of a corporation or something like that, and just complaints in general. I'm saying just this month isn't the best month to do that, so maybe wait till next month to do something like that instead, if you are planning something along those lines. This is bad for serious business matters that are not of a light heart, and that can just really get you stuck in a bad vibe that makes you lose out, and it's also just not aligned with the energies of the month, and I just don't think it's going to work out the best to deal with serious business matters this month. You may want to put those on hold. Also, this month is not good to be the wise guy. Try to be the smart person, try to be the right person, trying to be the guru. So maybe I should watch out for making these videos this month. Uh, so, also bad for this month. Trying to do too many tricks. So, just don't overdo things. Don't try and push yourself too hard. Also, this month is not good for worrying about financial situations. So, it's best to just not stress yourself out and just, you know, not procrastinate and never deal with anything, but just don't over worry about things. If things aren't going exactly the way that you wanted, just focus on something else. It seems to be important for this month. This month is also not good for pressing the panic button. So just don't freak out. um, that's all I can say about that. To summarize, January, very light-hearted, yellow energy, healing the earth, kind of melting away all the pain and toxins. Um, However, some people may experience anxiety and this uneasy feeling because of the lightness, and it's kind of like when something's too easy. When people say, oh, it's quiet, it's too quiet. It's like that sort of situation. Things are almost unreal in some aspects. So it could put people in a sense of anxiety and uneasiness because on some level people are being stretched into a new paradigm. And the old ways of viewing things are becoming outdated. And so people are getting used to this new world with different social interactions and things of that nature. So my advice would be that there is newness coming, so stay in your comfort zone for the most part. Push yourself gently. Treat yourself as a newborn baby coming into a new world, and allow yourself to seek comfort this month because I think that may be very healing for you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading and have a great day.